Alright, so what I want to do with you guys right now is we're going to do a little tutorial on watercolor just to kind of reiterate any information. And I believe the last time I went a little fast, so I'm going to try to go a little slow this time. We're just going to re-go over the techniques and what we need to do. Alright, so all my colors have been broken up. Sorry. All my colors have been, I woke them up. And I call it wake them up because you want to put water in them. And that kind of helps get them ready. Okay. All right. So as we remember from the last time that I talked about introduction of watercolors, there's a method where you can paint with water. And I think a lot of you really like this one a lot because you paint with water. As you can see, I don't really see where I'm painting with water, but as soon as I touch a color into it, then it becomes, it kind of fills up that space. Okay. And we call that wet paper with wet colors. All right. So I'm gonna do it again. So if there's anybody that still needs a little practice on understanding this, it's completely understandable. So if I do this, it's all, we do this when we want to make washes. So wet paper, wet color. All right. So wet paint on wet paper. And then if I want to, I'm gonna add some water to this green. So I'm kind of making sure that the water is in it. It's a pretty good, it's got a good enough amount in it. Paint it. Make sure I have plenty in there. There we go. All right, so that is the wet paint on dry paper. So I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna rinse it. I'm actually gonna dab it on my paper towel to dry it. And then I'm gonna come right down at the bottom and I'm just gonna paint down. Rinse my brush, dry it, paint down. Okay, this method we called it the drag and pull method. So I'm gonna do it again. On this side I'm gonna do blue. All right, it's good and thick. Rinse my brush, dry my brush, come down at the bottom. Paint down, rinse my brush, dry my brush, paint down. Okay, I just wanted to go over those techniques with you. All right, and then the other one would be like, and we've done this because we talked about layering. So take our color, we mix it. Yeah, let me see if I can pull this down. All right, so take our color, I'm gonna mix it right here. Sorry, I did a watercolor painting earlier and I really just don't want you guys getting distracted with it. So I need that image. So let me take this piece of paper. All right, so we add a little bit of water to it. And remember what we said, the more pigment, the darker it is, the more water, the lighter it is. So if I take this, I'm painting on dry paper, add water to it. Even I can take it over here, add water to it, and that kind of helps it. Okay, so the reason why I'm going over this with you, I have a couple new people that are new to the class, and so I just wanted to kind of reiterate some information. By all means, please take the time, practice, and then what we would do right here is we would let it dry a little bit and then layer another color. So, and then to clean it up, we can mop it up. Now, that's only forgiving sometimes, not all the time, just saying. But no, seriously, take some time, practice. If you need to, if there's anything you need to remember, please don't hesitate to email me. All right, so we went light. We're gonna pretend that that's dry. We're gonna go over this. And I'll also put up the other intro video, and then that way you guys can have that. So we can also experiment with mixing like a little bit of color to darken things up. So that sort of thing. Okay. All right, so that's just a reiteration. And again, if you have any questions or you need help, please let me know. Okay, hey guys, we are going to look at painting pointillism. All right, so you can do this different ways. Pointillism isn't just with doing paint. A lot of people, well, they'll do acrylics. We're actually going to do watercolor. Some people will do, you can do pen. And so you would just put dots. And the more dots you have together, the darker it is. I'll do a little bit more of an intro on shading and the different types of shading you can do with pen and ink and pencil. But so it's just using the point of whatever tool you have and making artwork. Okay. Some people do markers, and so you would do the same thing, dab your colors down and go from there. I figure we could do painting. Painting is going to go by a lot faster than if you were to use markers. So we don't want to be too harsh on you guys, but we still want you to be able to learn the steps with making art. Okay. All right, I'm just dabbing this up so I can flip the paper over and it doesn't mess up my picture over there. Too bad. Okay, so I have here, and like we went over with Georgia Surratt and the other artists, and then I showed you guys my example. There is this video up that shows like what I did and how I painted it. So please use that if you need to. Okay. And then I want to reiterate again, you want to make sure that you're not just using solid colors. Make sure that you're mixing the different variations of those colors. Okay. So different variations of those colors. Okay. All right. So I have right here, I have a peacock. I'm actually going to start with the body first because I am more, with pointillism, it kind of doesn't matter where you start because the whole thing is going to be about dots. But because I feel like I'm probably going to be more confident on the body, I'm going to do the body first. And then I'll do the outside last, I think. So I may try a couple things, but I just want to show you guys the thought process. So I start with an outline. I'm going to go ahead and mix some colors. Let me see if I can pull this down. Well, yeah, you can see it. Okay. All right, we're going to go right there. And then slide this guy down. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I had to make some adjustments. Okay. So what I want to start doing is, I'm going to start here. And it's very hard to get caught up in wanting to do this, but we're making pointillism, so we're not doing that. All right, so pointillism means dots. I'm going to start with straight blue, and we're going to place dots side by side. Now, if you're someone, this brush goes in different ways. So if you're someone that has a flat brush, kind of like this, you're actually just going to use the corner. So you would dot like that, okay? If you're somebody who has a round brush, keep it wet. And what I would do is try to roll the brush kind of like so. And then that way you have your dots, okay? It also works if you notice I made another shade of green. It has blue in it. Probably needs a little bit more blue. So what I want to do is I'm going to practice with different variations of blue because I really like how peacocks are blue. So I want to take some purple. I want to add some blue to it. All right, and I'm just gonna put dots until I fill up the spaces. It would be hard to say, try not to let your dots touch, but that's not gonna happen. So as you can see, I'm starting to show it. What I'm gonna do as this part dries, I'm actually, so if you notice it's starting to get light, so I'm actually gonna dip my brush into a color. But as this starts to dry, I'm probably gonna go back over and put some more dots in just to kind of fill up that white space a little bit, even though you do want some of the white space to show. Now I'm going to start with the other color. So I guess we'll talk while I'm painting because I hadn't really told you guys what you're actually doing. You are making a painting that has pointillism. The subject matter is up to you. You just need to make sure that you have a subject matter and you have a background. So you can do a landscape. That's fine. as long as you fill up the page with your dots. So landscape is fine, or you can choose a subject matter. So like this one is the fish. And I'm doing a peacock. So you can do the subject matter as long as you paint the background too. Okay. So that part is, there's gonna be a little bit more freedom for you on what you're going to choose to paint. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Actually, I mean, I hope it makes it, I hope that some of you guys are like, yay, we get to choose our own subject matter. But then I know some of you are like, oh, I wish you would just tell me what to paint. And if you're having that kind of struggle, email me. I will be more than happy to email you a list of ideas. Yeah, I know it looks tedious, but it's actually not as bad as it could be. Like I said, we could be doing this with markers. You guys would be like, Miss McLeany, Miss Taylor. So I'm not asking for you to paint any specific type of textures. Like a peacock has feathers. So on this, I really wouldn't be able to paint the feathers per se. Hope that makes sense. So some of these start to dry. I'm going to come in. I'm going to layer some extra dots on it just to kind of fill it up. The biggest part is you want to make it look like a pointillism painting, not a cheetah of different colors. So like this right here looks like a cheetah to me. We want to fill in those spaces. So fill up dots. It's okay to have white areas, yes, but you want to make sure that you have that look. So it's not like random Dalmatian spots or cheetah spots. And again, I'm using the point of my paintbrush, and I'm using these colors I've mixed up. I really like this turquoise green in here. I think it's pretty. So I'm going to make sure I use it. Also, I try to, so I'm going to come up here and show you. So if my dots start looking the same shape, what I'll do is I rotate my paintbrush. And so that way the dots will start looking a little bit more placed and not like, so it doesn't look like I have a stamp. Also, I have a few of you in my class that are going to attempt this. Okay, when I say pointillism, let me slide this out of the way. If you notice that I'm painting nicely with my brush, let me see. All right, I'm gonna slide this guy out of the way real quick. Put him right there on that box. Okay, so I have a few of you. We have to go ahead and just kind of address this. All right, so your brush is amazing and it's great until you damage it. So please do not damage your brush. And that means when you make dots, and with pointillism, you're just making dots. Just like this, I'm tapping nicely on the paper. If you're someone that wants to do this, this is not pointillism. You will tear up your brush. You're not getting your brush replaced, okay? If you want to turn something like this in, expect a grade of something like this, and it's not gonna be good, okay? So, make sure I didn't ruin it. Okay, what happens is, and this is something important about, like, if you were to take a pair of scissors to your brush and you were to cut the bristles, your bristles are put in a specific way. So if one of your bristles gets damaged, it's going to start affecting the bristles of the entire brush. Okay, so we have etiquette on painting. All right, so even if I want big dots, I'm gonna turn my brush, kind of place it down with a little extra water. Little dots, I'm just gonna go nicely. Okay, if you need to practice this before you start your actual drawing, that's fine. We're trying to work with you guys to give you guys extra time because some of you need to get caught up in class. Some of you need to watch the videos for the lessons to follow instructions. Okay. All right. So again, make sure we're not looking like Dalmatians and that we are making sure that our colors and our lines are evenly placed. Okay. So pointillism. Pointillism. Okay. We're doing dots. Subject matter, you can do a landscape. You can do an animal. This one my subject matter is a hot air balloon, but it's in a landscape and I fill up the whole page. And then we talked about the artist Georges Seurat. Okay. So a lot of times we have to reiterate information for you. So that way it'll help you remember. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you to it with painting. And I will have a video of this guy for you of where I finished it. Okay. All right. Have a good day. Remember, you are loved.